Hello, welcome to Reset Week Day 4. Reset your expectations. And before I get started, I want to do a quick little video, or not video, but screen share. Where am I at here? Okay. And I'm going to show you. So I'm going to the replay page for all of the weeks, all of this week. So I have been sending out emails and posting once I update this page each day. And you should be able to see the reset page. Welcome to Reset Week. It says scroll down for replays. So I recorded a little introduction message there. Here is the Reset Week playlist. I don't know if you can see my arrow or not, but the playlist, if you click on that, you can follow the playlist on Spotify. You can also add your favorite songs that go along with this week if you want to add something to the playlist so that everybody, like, we find new music that we don't know about. And so that's fun. Then here is the Reset Week schedule. Each day's calls are listed out with the links for each day's calls. And the devotion we're doing this week, the link for that. If you want to join the Start Where You're At Facebook group, that's where I have been posting information. The calendar, I mean, it's Thursday, but you could add the calendar to get the links for tomorrow, which we have devotions first thing in the morning. Right after, we're going straight in from devotions into talking about weight loss reset. And then at 1 o'clock my time, so noon Pacific, 1 Mountain, 2 Central, 3 Eastern, I'm opening up the Zoom room to do open coaching. And I'm probably going to record that, but I won't post it. And people may or may not show up. I will be there just in case anybody wants to come on, ask questions, wants to get coached on any of the topics. So that's just kind of an open time. Then you scroll down and it has the replays. There is replays for each day. So day 1, Monday, I have the replay of the devotional, and you can watch the video. I'm going to click on it just to make sure it works. It has the video of the day 1 devotion. It also has the audio. You can download the audio if you are going to go for a walk or something and you just want to listen. You can just listen. And each of those videos for each day, it's the same thing. Day 1, I had some journal prompts. So I posted those here. And from the devotion, the videos that Hosanna Wong has done, she does spoken word. And those are super good. And then day 2 was I have the devotions, resetting your mindset. Same thing, the videos and the audio. Oh, I did not add. Okay. Day 3 was resetting your emotions. And it looks like I did not add the audio for that. I will go back and do that. So I have the devotions from yesterday and the teaching from yesterday, along with I added you can click there and it pulls up a list of feelings and a list of body sensations. So sometimes we might have a hard time identifying feelings because it's not a language that we're really used to speaking. And a feelings wheel I added on there. And then later this morning, day 4 will be here. So the video and audio from devotions this morning and the teaching that I'm about to start doing now. So if anything on that page, if you go there and anything on that page is not working right, please send me an email or message me, like let me know, because I want to know if it's not working right, so that I can get it fixed. Or if it's an operator error, I can help you with that. We're not all tech savvy, and technology kind of can not work the way we expect it to sometimes. That happened this week when with the Zoom links, I didn't realize that the calendar, if you duplicate an event that has a Zoom link in it, it changes the Zoom link. So I thought all of these calls were going to be on the same Zoom link, and that did not turn out to be the case. And I had to pivot and figure it out, and that's okay. So anyway, that is the reset page. And it has everything from the whole week. And I keep doing that and I don't want to. Okay. So welcome to day 4 of Reset Week. Reset your expectations. So on Monday, we talked about resetting your self-care and just kind of a general overview of what self-care is and what it isn't. And Tuesday, we talked about our thoughts, resetting our mindset, and really our thoughts are one of the only things that we have total control over. Like, we can control how we think. There's not much else that we can control outside of us. Really, we can't control anything outside of us. But the way that we think creates how we feel. The way that we think leads to ultimately what we do and how we experience life and the life that we live. Yesterday was reset your emotions, and it's a continuation. The way that we think creates how we feel. So because we can control how we think, we can also control how we feel, which is it might be new information. It might be a little bit hard to grasp, and you might fight against it. And that's okay, because it's new. It's new, and that's okay. So today we are going to, it's a continuation. It all relates to each other. So I, again, have been praying, God, show me. What do I hit on? What is most important for this week to just kind of be an introduction? So I could have gone with so many things, and I don't know why I went with expectations, but I think that our expectations of ourselves and of other people, and our expectations of life and how the world works and what our circumstances should be, that goes right along with how we feel and how we think, because we have expectations because, again, we think that we're going to feel a certain way if things go the way we think they're going to go. And we know from yesterday, we only feel things, yesterday and the day before, we only feel things because of the way that we're thinking about them. So I've heard it said, and I actually Googled it this morning. I have heard it one way, and the quote actually has one extra word in it. So I have heard it said that expectations are premeditated resentments. And the actual quote is, unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments, but it can be the opposite. And also, I was just on a call before this, and it was so fascinating to me because the ladies were talking, and I shared about my expectations of when my family is all together. And I expect it to be this like big, beautiful, loving experience. And then all the real people show up. And big picture, it is a big, beautiful, loving experience. But in the moment, you can be disappointed. You can be frustrated. You can, all of these things, because we think that it should go a certain way and it doesn't. So my expectation was that it's just going to be this wonderful experience. And another lady shared on the call, and she has the complete opposite expectation. She's thinking about Thanksgiving coming up, and family being together. And she's thinking about all of the things that could go wrong, like all of the ways that she expects people to act that will be annoying and frustrating and all of these things. So I just thought that was so interesting because I'm expecting like, oh, it to be beautiful and wonderful. And she's expecting it to be, a dumpster fire. And so my thought was, I'm setting myself up to be disappointed, that premeditated resentment. And she's really setting herself up to be like, oh, this is so much better than I expected. So I just thought that just happened this morning. So I just thought that was super interesting. Um, I just had a little scare thinking I didn't hit record and I was going to have to start all over again, but I hit record and everything is fine. So unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. And I would actually say expectations in general, because we can even speak our expectations and be disappointed, right? And then ultimately resentful. So like I said, the only thing that we have ultimate control over is what we think, how we think, the thoughts that we allow on purpose in our mind. The way that we think generates how we feel. Our thoughts generate emotions, feelings, and our feelings drive our actions and inactions. So and you can tell me in the chat if you're here live, you can always email me or message me if you're watching the replay. How do you feel when you think things should go a certain way and they don't? Or when you think someone should say something or do something in a certain way and they don't? Or when you think someone should say or do something specific and they don't do that thing at all, or they do the complete opposite? How do we feel when that happens? Open up the chat. And I think that it obviously it depends on the situation and the person and what we're expecting and how they react. But really, the way that we feel always comes from the way we're thinking. And expectations, whether they're spoken out loud or not, are thoughts that we have. We expect that people should do things a certain way. We expect that, I have an example. And Anne said, disappointed, frustrated, annoyed, but sometimes pleasantly surprised. Yes. And it can be positive feelings. Like if you have this expectation and they actually meet the expectation, then it's like you could feel validated or you could feel loved or valued or treasured. So it can be positive and negative emotions. It's just important to know and acknowledge that the way that you're feeling is always coming from the way you're thinking about the thing, not the actual thing. So here's an example. I actually I'm like, okay, I need to think of an example ahead of time because my mind goes blank on the spot. I think that, okay, I think that the people that I live with should notice when the sink is empty and the dishwasher is dirty or empty. And when the sink is empty, meaning that the dishwasher has dirty dishes in it, that dirty dishes should be put in the dishwasher and not left in the sink. So that's kind of my expectation. And so when I walk into the kitchen and expect that the sink is going to be empty because people that live with me saw it and realized, oh, I can put my dirty dishes in the dishwasher. And they should do that, right? That's how I think. But But then I walk in there and oh, the sink's not empty. It has dirty dishes because somebody that I live with ate something and put their dirty dishes in the sink. And so when I see that, I could think, because I expect them to do a certain thing, I could think they know better. I could think they're so lazy. I can think they don't care about me. I can think they expect me to clean up after them. They just think I'm here to walk around and clean up after them. And people that know me personally will laugh at this because this is actually not the case in my life. But it could be. And if I'm thinking this way, what am I going to feel? If I'm thinking those thoughts, I'm going to feel frustrated. I might feel disgusted. I might feel hurt. I might feel resentful. And so when I expect them to be doing something, I'm thinking that they should be doing it a certain way, and they don't. I could think a lot of other things. I could think, oh, I love cleaning up after people. I could think that thought is available to me. I don't know that I would ever think that on purpose, but I could think, oh, maybe they forgot, or oh, I know that he's really busy with work and he probably meant to do it later. And I can choose, do I want to clean up out the sink or do I want to wait for him to do it himself? So it's the way that we're thinking about it that makes us feel um any kind of way. And when I was thinking about this, I thought about the verses in the Bible about hope delayed. And it's hope delayed makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. And that is Proverbs 13:12. And in the Passion translation, which I really like to look at because it's very descriptive, it says, when hope's dreams seem to drag on and on, the delay can be depressing. And I think this came to my mind because what is hope? When the things that we hope for do not come true, it makes our heart sick or makes us depressed. Hope is, and this is the definition, a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, or a feeling of trust. So hope is different than wish. Hoping for something is different than wishing for it, because wishing for it is like, oh, I just wish that would happen. But hope has that sense of expectation behind it. When I am hoping for something, I am wanting it to happen, and there's a sense of expecting it to happen too. And when things don't happen the way we expect them to happen, we are disappointed because we're thinking it should have been different. It should have gone a different way. So again, we have expectations of ourselves. We have expectations of other people. We have expectations of what we think life should look like. And we can think about what our life looks like now and like, I didn't expect this. Or it could be just as if like everything could have worked out like you did expect it to. So we have expectations of ourselves, of other people, of our life, and we think that when those things go a certain way, we're going to feel a certain way, but really it's just because of the way that we're thinking about it. So if we go back to yesterday's teaching, let me remind us, yesterday's teaching tells us that I am only responsible for my own emotions, and I'm fully responsible for my own emotions. You are only responsible for your own emotions, and you are fully responsible for your own emotions, because it's only the way that we think about things that creates how we feel. And like I said, it can be easier to feel certain things in certain situations with certain people. for sure. So that's number one. Number two is you can feel any emotion and survive. Emotions are vibrations going through our body. It's not going to physically hurt us. We can handle any emotion. And three, you can feel emotions on purpose. You can decide how you want to feel, and you can work on generating that feeling. And I will also say, kind of along with this, you can feel how you want to feel. You can experience anything and handle the feeling, and you can work on how you're thinking about something. And sometimes you decide, and it's totally okay to decide. And this is kind of where boundaries can come in, where curating your circle can come in. Like, I could do the work to think thoughts that make me feel differently about this person or this situation, and it's going to take a lot of work. And sometimes I don't want to do that work. I could have stayed at my job as a school counselor and continued to do the work to think about my job differently, to think about the system differently. I could have kept doing that. And I decided that I did not want to. That was not where I wanted to use my energy. And that can be in big things and in small things. I hope this is all making sense. So the way that we feel is based on how we think about things. And it's a very simplistic view. It's also true, but it's not easy. It's not an easy idea to grasp, and it's not easy work to do. It takes work, it takes effort. It is worth the effort, and you are worth the effort. Your relationships are worth the effort. Okay, so back to feelings, and we expect things because we expect that we're going to feel a certain way, but we can control how we feel because we know that we're responsible for our own emotions. We can handle any emotion, and we can feel emotions on purpose. So it is not whether or not life, other people, or we ourselves live up to our expectations that make us feel anything. Loved, angry, accepted, joy, peace, resentment. It's not the things that people do or say. It's not life circumstances. It's not what we do or say that makes us feel any certain way. It's the way that we think about it. It's what we make it mean about other people and ourselves. So how can we put this into practice? What are some practical ways to work on our expectations, to reset our expectations? And I have 3 steps. Number one, do I want to say this before, after? After. Okay. So number one, know your expectations. Ask yourself, what, if you're feeling that disappointment, ask yourself, what was I expecting here that didn't get met? What expectation was not met? What was my real and honest expectation of this person, of this situation, of myself? What was I expecting? Or you can do it proactively before you go into a situation. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. You can ask yourself, realistically, going into this, what am I expecting right now? Like, what am I expecting to happen? And how am I expecting that to make me feel? And so either way, in hindsight, you can do it in hindsight. You can do it in the moment. You can do it proactively before you go into something. So know your expectations. That awareness, that in itself can be so helpful. Know your expectations. What am I expecting in this situation? And this is perfect. Okay. This is why I decided to do expectations, but I didn't even know it. The holidays are coming up. You may or may not be around family. You may expect expect to be around family and it doesn't work out, or you may, whatever it is that you're expecting for the holidays, think about that. Go looking ahead, going into that situation. What are my expectations of this? Am I expecting it to be a joyful, wonderful time, or am I expecting a dumpster fire? Just be really honest and like think about if you have a big family gathering and think about each of the people there. What do you expect from them? And how is it that you think that's going to make you feel? So know your expectations for yourself also. What do I expect of myself? And just be 100% honest. Even if later you're like, that was ridiculous. Like, why would I think that so-and-so would do such and such? Because they've not ever done that before. Or for myself, like, if I'm really expecting myself to not eat any dessert at Thanksgiving, like, is that a realistic expectation? And it could be anything. So know your expectations. 2, assess your expectations. So now, and you can journal it out. You can do it in your mind. It's so much better if you write it out and like have the visual, know what you're expecting, and then assess those expectations. Is this realistic? Is it realistic to expect other people to notice that the sink is empty and to go that step farther and put their dishes in the dishwasher? And it might not be realistic to expect that because I haven't verbalized it. Maybe when I verbalize it, it changes it into something else. So your expectations, and this goes along with your expectations of yourself. I work on this in weight loss all the time with clients. Start where you're at, commit to what you're willing to do, and take the small steps consistently to get where you want to be. So be realistic and part of this is, am I setting myself up for failure? Am I setting myself up for disappointment? Am I setting myself up for resentment because my expectations are unrealistic for myself, for others, for the situation? Am I depending on this? And this is part of assessing your expectations. Am I depending on this to make me feel good, to make me feel valued, to make me feel validated, to make me feel happy? So just assessing those expectations. Are they realistic? And am I depending on people meeting my expectations to feel good or to feel any kind of way? So know your expectations, assess them, and then reset them. Reset your expectations. If it's not realistic, what is more realistic? What can I honestly expect of myself going into Thanksgiving? And how can I set that expectation up in such a way that I'm setting myself up for success? What is in my control? Can I control what anybody else in the world says or does? No. The only thing I can control is my reaction, my response, how I think about what they do or say, or don't do, or don't say. That's all I can control. So, what do I expect of myself when Uncle so and so inevitably spews whatever, does whatever, burps at the table? I don't know. So, how do I expect myself to respond when other people are just being themselves, and negatively or positively? How do I expect myself to respond no matter what else is going on in the world? Who do I want to show up as no matter what? And then what are realistic expectations? Like maybe you just know that Uncle so-and-so is going to start spewing his political opinions, and you just know and expect that you're going to be annoyed about it. And maybe you craft a response like, my expectation is that this is going to be my response no matter what. And that's in your control. It's realistic. So resetting your expectations. What is in my control? What can I realistically expect really from myself? And how do I want to respond to the things that I expect from other people? And then how do I want to feel? What do I want to say? What do I want to do? How do I want to act no matter what? And this is, I mean, it's going back, it's the same thing. Really, the only person that you have control over is you. So, how do you expect yourself to think, feel, and act or speak no matter what else anybody else is doing? And I really like to think through when I'm thinking about my expectations of myself, because really we can only control ourselves. I like to think ahead, like, okay, I'm working on my expectations of Thanksgiving Day. It's going to be at this place with these people. On my way home, after dinner is done, kitchen's clean, after we say goodbye and we're in the car on the way home, how do I want to feel about how I showed up? And I want to act in a way, I want to treat people in a way, I want to speak in a way that I feel good about on my way home. And all of that, what I say, how I feel, what I do, all comes from the way that I'm thinking. So I want to be thinking in a way that I'm setting myself up for success, which means I need to know what I am expecting. I need to assess those expectations, and I need to reset those expectations so that they're realistic. They are things that I can control and create that feeling that I want to feel. And that is what I have for you. If you have any questions or comments, if you're live, I would love to hear from you. If you're watching the replay, is this helpful? Is there like a certain situation that you're like, oh my word, I am going to sit down and I'm going to do these three things. I'm going to ask myself, what am I expecting going into this situation? And be honest. Be honest. Like, I expect to be waited on hand and foot. Whatever it is. Know what you are expecting. Assess your expectations. Are they realistic? Am I depending on these things to make me feel a certain way? And then reset. What are realistic expectations? What is in my control? And how do I want to show up no matter what? How do I want to think, feel, and act no matter what? I hope that was helpful, and I would love to hear feedback. Tomorrow is Friday, and it'll be our last day of devotions at it's 5 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Mountain, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. And then the topic tomorrow is reset your weight loss. And I'll just be going right in from devotions into reset your weight loss. And then at noon Pacific, I'll have an open coaching call. So you can come on with any questions or coaching that you want on any of these topics. So I hope to see you there, and the replays will be up soon. Have a great day.